Hello, I'm Rachel Robinson, Vice President of Preservation at Historic Annapolis. HA's preservation advocacy efforts over the last 2 years have been singularly focused on the City Dock project. This critically important resiliency project addresses climate change and sea level rise, something we are experiencing in real time with regular nuisance flooding and record water levels. Some elements of this project, however, have morphed beyond necessity, practicality, or community consensus. In a companion video, Karen walked us through the historical context of City Dock and a history of the studies and community planning that get us to today. Here I'll bring you up to speed on recent activities so that you know what to expect, and then I'll lay out HA's support and concerns on this issue. The City Dock Action Committee is a group of 100 stakeholders and subject matter experts who worked intently to deliver a final plan to the city in 2020. This plan was a phenomenal effort and guide for the welcome reimagining of City Dock. And as the city now embarks on the first steps towards implementation, including local regulatory review and budget approvals for this, the largest infrastructure project in Annapolis history, we find departures from the consensus plan in some respects. Since last year, the City Dock project team has engaged in a number of community meetings to present evolving plans and designs for what is ultimately flood barrier protection and the welcome introduction of a new elevated park. Most of what we have seen, we support and have stated so at public hearings. What we think of as a singular project to make the water's edge at City Dock more resilient has been segmented by the city into different elements, which causes a fair bit of confusion. In January 2024, the city began presenting phase 1 of the project, Resiliency and the Park, to the Planning Commission. A 2-part public hearing concluded with unanimous approval and 19 conditions. The Historic Preservation Commission, or HPC, reviewed phase 1 in March 2024. First as a pre-application review of flood resilience improvements, and then through a virtual public hearing. Phase 1 passed HPC approval unanimously with conditions. A follow-up application for amendments to the original approval are scheduled for review at the HPC public hearing on September 10th. These additional elements or alterations for the park and resiliency design include the water feature, utility pergolas, and widening of the Dock Street sidewalk. The public can submit comments to the HPC ahead of time or provide live testimony at the hearing. Phase 2 of the City Dock project includes a proposed Maritime Welcome Center. The design of the Maritime Welcome Center has evolved over the last couple of years, and in May 2024, the current design was unveiled. It was first presented to the City Council at a closed and remote meeting. The following day, the project team presented it at a joint meeting of the HPC and Planning Commission. There was no public testimony, though the public was allowed to submit questions to the commissioners, which were then posed to the project team. For many, including HA, the main controversy in the City Dock plan is the Maritime Welcome Center, new construction on the water's edge as an addition to the historic Burtis House. For us, the building is 2 times too big, with intended uses surpassing the needs required to replace the current Harbor Master building. Normally, HA does not comment on issues of use unless that use has a detrimental effect on the historic structure or district. In this case, uses such as municipal conference rooms and a restaurant are driving the unnecessarily large size and mass of this design. If you would like to catch up on the meetings where these images were presented, you can find all City Council and Commission meetings on the city's 2 official YouTube channels. The last public presentation by the city that included the new Maritime Welcome Center design was held May 30th on site at City Dock. Again, there was no opportunity for direct public comment or questions. Following the lengthy presentation program, those who remained could participate at topical breakout sessions. At the conclusion, a brief report from each group was delivered by appointees of the city. What's next? Following the amendments for the park that will be reviewed at the HPC on September 10th, the new Maritime Welcome Center will also come to the HPC for review. We're just not sure when that will happen.